Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm based in Sydney, so it will be an afternoon from my end. And welcome to today's session on prompt engineering in action. And thank you very much for your time in building something, a skill that is rapidly becoming a very essential in each and every industry, which is expert prompt design. Before we delve into today's webinar, let me introduce ourselves, myself and Nihit. We both are the speakers. I'll start with mine. So my name is Santanu Roy, and I'm a subject matter expert. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer and also AI certified instructor, and I work with Lumify Group. I have over 22 years of experience in delivering technical training across several countries. I specialize in Microsoft technologies like Azure, Microsoft 365, SecOps, and recently I'm also honored to have received the Outstanding Trainer of the Year for the Asia Pacific region in the AI Search Global Partner Excellence Awards this year. Joining me is Nihit. Nihit is also a Microsoft certified trainer and technical trainer with AI Certs. He has got extensive experience delivering training on Azure AI data technologies. He specializes in generative AI, machine learning with Python, especially, and also he is an AI solution architect with over 11 years of technical training experience. Together, we will guide you through today's session. I'll start with some of the introductory concepts. Then I'll hand it over to Nihit, and he'll take you through the frameworks, which are nothing but the best practices for designing good prompts. So, without any further delay, let's begin. But before we start the actual topic, let me tell you briefly about us as in Lumify Group and AI Search. Now, AI Search and Lumify Group, both of us, we have come together to deliver a world-class AI education. AI Search provides globally recognized vendor-neutral certifications, while us, we bring decades of experience in professional upskilling. Together, we ensure that each and every learner gains industry validated skills that are immediately applicable in their workplace. So, by the end of today's session, we will understand why businesses these days they demand professionals who can design precise and very reliable prompts. We will also take you through the certification pathways, which will eventually prepare you for future ready careers. So don't treat this as just a webinar. This webinar is your opportunity to step into the next level of professional capability, where you don't just learn AI, you guide it, you shape it, and you engineer it. Okay. I hope you all understand that it's technically not possible to cover each and every aspect of prompt engineering within a 1 hour webinar, but at least this webinar will help you to move in the right path, right direction, and try to understand the importance of prompt engineering. So let's begin. Let's make a start. And also, during today's webinar, if you have got any questions, if you have got any queries, feel free to put the questions in the chat. Okay. Once we all are done with the content, both of us, me and Nihit, then we will try our best to answer your questions. So let's start with a very basic topic like prompting. Why this is important? Well, AI has become the new professional literacy these days. AI is a part of, it has become a part of everyday work. It's no longer a future technology. People are already using AI in their daily jobs. So, what is the importance of prompt engineering? It's very important because prompt engineering is how you interact with AI, how do you talk to AI. In order to get good results from AI or AI based systems or AI based applications, you must know how to ask the question properly. Good prompts means obviously good answers, bad prompts means obviously bad answers. You know, most of the people these days they use AI. Okay, actually, more than 70 out of 100 professionals will they are using AI, but only a few know how to use it correctly or to get the results properly. Good prompts will actually save a lot of time. If you know how to write good prompts, strong prompts, you can finish tasks twice as fast. And also, crafting good prompts gives you sort of a career boost, career advantage, because these days, leaders, managers, they now expect people to know how to use AI very well. Not only how to use AI, how to use AI efficiently. Prompt engineering, it is gradually becoming a very basic skill like email or Excel. So you should be aware of the best practices for crafting good prompts. After a few minutes, when Nihit will take over this session, he will take you through the different frameworks for crafting good prompts. Those are some of the industry standard frameworks. So wait for that particular topic, and then you will be able to understand those frameworks properly and apply those frameworks in order to craft good prompts. Now let's talk about something known as cognitive bridge, technical tuning, and outcome oriented. I'll explain what these things are all about. But please note that prompt engineering is not just asking better questions. Engineering is a branch of science. Okay. It has been designed in, in a way so that you get good results every time. Now, in order to get good results every time, there are a couple of things you need to be aware of. Number one, cognitive bridge. By definition, cognitive bridge means connecting your mind with AI's mind. It means you tell the AI systems what you really want, and those AI systems will turn them into productive, good output. Good prompts will help the AI systems to understand your intentions clearly. Now, let's talk about technical tuning. Treat technical tuning like adjusting some kind of a knob so that AI can behave better. Okay. There are certain like terminologies, there are certain parameters like temperature, model size. Now, with the help of these factors like temperature and model size, you can control, right? These settings actually control whether the answer becomes more imaginative, more precise, more detailed. There is something known as hyperparameter optimization. With the help of this hyperparameter optimization, you can make AI systems more imaginative, more precise, more detailed, which is generally covered in our advanced courses. Okay, how to configure hyperparameter optimization. If you know how these settings like temperature and model work, then you can actually control the behavior of AI systems. Outcome oriented means you should craft the prompt, you should design the prompt in such a way so that AI can't mess up. So the assumption is instead of hoping the AI gives you the right answer, you design the prompt so well that AI is almost guaranteed to give you the correct output every time. Now let's talk about things like machine learning and prediction. Let's talk about this. One thing I would like to clarify upfront, and that is AI doesn't think. It can predict. It doesn't think like human beings. It uses algorithms like machine learning. It learns through data by going through information, going through data. It learns patterns, it uses patterns, but not understanding. AI can predict the next word. Like AI is basically a very advanced pattern machine. It does not understand like human beings, but it can guess the next word based on the patterns it has seen before. Because we train an AI system. And once we train the AI system, it will understand, it will learn from historical data. It can extract out hidden patterns. It, as mentioned before, it doesn't understand like human beings. It just guesses the next word on the basis of the pattern on which it has been trained before, it has seen before. It's just like, an autocomplete feature on your phone, but far more powerful. In AI systems, every word is a probability guess. I mean, when AI writes a sentence, what it does in the background is it analyzes things like what is the most likely next word? What is the second most likely? Which one fits the pattern best? So the output is a sort of a statistical bet, not a thought. Uh, and also the model's memory. AI systems like relies on memory, okay, because it learns data, it analyzes the patterns, it stores the information, so it needs to have a memory. Okay. So the AI model's memory is nothing but a bunch of numbers. Okay. It AI systems doesn't store facts like we do. like human brain. It stores trillions of tiny weights. Weights, by the way, are nothing but just a number which represents the pattern it has learned. Um, AI doesn't store facts like a human brain. It, it, it is just a bunch of numbers. Those numbers are known as weights. The weights are the patterns it has learned. And these weights, these patterns, it actually predicts what should come next. And in terms of security, you must understand that AI knows nothing about your files unless you give it a text, unless you upload something, unless you paste something. AI cannot see your hard drive, the content of your hard drive, can't see your emails, can't see your documents, can't access your private data unless you have shared those information with AI. It only works on what you have typed or what you have uploaded. Like, for instance, if you want, let's say, a document, a massive document to get summarized, she will have to upload the document first. Once you have uploaded the document, then the AI systems will analyze, extract out the hidden patterns, and then only it can summarize the content. So please note that AI systems, they can't think like a human brain. It predicts, it uses patterns, not understanding. Now let's talk about something which is very important, and that is tokenization. There is a terminology which we heavily use in prompt engineering known as tokenization. AI reads every text, but once it has gone through the text, it breaks down into smaller fragments, in smaller chunks, which we call as tokens. So AI doesn't read the full words. It reads tiny pieces known as tokens. Treat tokens as just a small chunk of text. Sometimes it can be a whole word. Sometimes it can be half a word. Like, for instance, think about a text understanding. AI might interpret that particular text as under, stand, ing. This is how it processes the language. There is a very specific branch of AI known as NLP, natural language processing. It's a branch of AI. NLP is a branch of AI which gives AI systems the capability of understanding human knowledge, human speech, human text, and interact. Like, for instance, our digital assistants like Siri, Alexa, Cortana, chatbots. These are all examples of NLP based systems. It can understand the human text, it can understand human speech, and it can will accordingly interact with the human being. Uh, Context window is the brain of AI, but it's a short term memory brain. So the context window is the AI's short term memory. AI can remember certain amount of tokens uh, in one time. Okay. And this limit is known as the context window. Token means fragmenting a massive text or a sentence into smaller units. Once the memory fills up, AI starts forgetting about the earlier part of the conversation. It's just like a whiteboard that gets wiped out when it's full. But there are different types of algorithms available where we can adjust the parameters so that AI systems can retain for a longer duration. Different AI models will have different memory sizes. Okay. Some AI models can remember, let's say, 8,000 tokens, smaller memory. Some AI systems can remember like huge numbers, like 128,000 tokens, very large memory. More tokens means longer conversation, bigger documents, like document summarization. If you upload a massive policy document which spans over, let's say, 20, 30 pages, and if you want the AI system to be able to analyze, summarize the document, it needs to have a bigger brain. It needs to retain memory for a longer duration. Now, while designing the AI systems, there are different kinds of algorithms. Different kinds of algorithms will have different kinds of memory capacity for AI systems. So it all depends. If you're creating an AI system, you will be able to, as a developer, if you're creating the AI system as a developer, you will have the option. You'll have the option to decide on the memory size of the AI model. Now, what is the relationship between this memory and prompt crafting? Actually, short, clear prompts will save the memory and make the AI produce the output at a much more faster rate. If you write a long, messy prompt, more tokens will be generated. So the response time will be very poor, slower response. And also, the AI systems will struggle to remember. If you give a short, precise prompt, few tokens will be generated. So it will be a faster model, it will be a clearer model. So being concise helps to improve the performance of an AI model. So this is the relationship between the performance of an AI model with with proper prompting. Now let us talk about, if you have a look at this graph, it's a very interesting one. This is how the AI systems work actually. AI is best at remembering. If you give a prompt, AI is very good in remembering what comes at the beginning and what comes at the end. It is the middle spot which is sort of weak. It's a blurry point. So AI remembers the beginning very well. Okay. If you put information like valuable information at the start of your prompt, then AI can handle it properly, accurately. And AI also remembers the end very well. If you put information at the end, AI handles it accurately. I'll give you an example. So let's say you have given a prompt, and the prompt is write a story about a dog, keep it short, most important, make it funny. So now AI will focus on the first segment and the last segment. Write a story about a dog. It knows that I need to generate a story about a dog. And the last part is most important, make it funny. So it should be funny. So now AI sees the most important instructions at the beginning and at the end. So it follows it better. AI gets confused by the things in the middle, like information placed in the middle of a long prompt is the easiest for AI to miss or misunderstand because it's a middle point which gets blurry. So, a practical tip, put your most important instructions at the beginning or at the bottom of your prompt. This is the place where AI pays the most attention. That is the reason generally when we craft a prompt, like we start with the precise information, what exactly is required. In the middle half, we can add whatever we want, but we will wrap up at the end. We will also dump the important information like upload a document, analyze the document, and towards the end, we can specify generate 5 bullet points after summarizing. So it knows that, okay, I need to review this document because that has come at the beginning of the prompt, and I need to generate some bullet points. So it gives more focus at the beginning and also at the end. The next part is this is really interesting. I like the title of the slide, the taxonomy of a prompt failure. Okay. Sometimes AI systems, like if we take example of things like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google Gemini, or any kind of a chat-based system where we can ask questions and we can generate something, we can generate recommendations, we can generate predictions. Sometimes we might not get the desired output. So you've given a prompt, but the response is completely different. So there are certain factors which contributes towards this failure. Prompts will fail when they're vague, they're overloaded, or even contradictory. Ambiguity. AI doesn't know what you mean. I mean, think about this. If you say things like "make it good," okay, or maybe shorten this or improve this document, AI has got no idea what good means to you. Okay, so the results will eventually become a random. The context dilution, too much extra information, which will confuse the AI system. If you give a long story, unnecessary background on unrelated details, how will AI generate the right output? AI might focus on the wrong sections of the prompt. It is like, you know, giving someone a 10-page essay when you need just one line, one sentence. Conflicts. You have given opposite direction instructions to the AI system. Uh, Examples such as write a detailed answer in 50 words. Contradictory, absolutely contradictory. Be formal, but at the same time, be casual as well. Summarize everything, but don't leave anything out. When when instructions, fight each other, AI gets confused and it might produce errors. So, what is the fix? The fix is structured prompting. Instead of chatting casually with an AI system, give it clear, step by step instruction. Think like this. You're not simply chatting with AI, you're giving instruction to a machine. If you don't give the instructions properly, how can you expect the prompts or the AI systems to deliver the best output, the desired output? Now I'll tell you some of the best practices which you should follow while designing prompts, while crafting prompts. Okay. And they are, let's go through these points. Okay. Think of a good prompt is just like giving a clear instruction to a helper. You want someone to be able to help you, and if you're not giving the clear instructions, how will the helper help you? Number one, you should always, within your prompts, you should define roles. Like who should the AI pretend to be? Example of a prompt: act like a doctor and create a personalized treatment plan for a diabetic patient. So now the AI will start thinking like a doctor. Act yourself as a teacher, pretend you're a teacher, and generate a five set questions on such and such topic. This helps the AI to answer in the right style because it will start thinking like a teacher. It will start thinking like a doctor. Okay. Like in security industry, like in Microsoft security solutions or third party security solutions, generally what we do is, if we have got a security based AI systems, we generally give prompts like act as a system analyst, act as a penetration tester, act as a certified ethical hacker, and generate a pen testing guide for me. So that way it will start thinking like a penetration tester, pen tester. It will start thinking like a system analyst. So role is important. And most of the time, we just give a prompt. We don't pretend that it should work like a doctor, it should act like a teacher, it should act like a system analyst. Next one is context. Context is what background AI needs. I'll give you an example. Okay. This is for a 12-year-old student. Okay. So I'm trying to create something for a 12-year-old student. I want to generate a document on such and such topic. I want to generate a business report. This is for a business report. So I want a policy to be created. So if you give a context, this tells AI about the situation. Okay. The next one is you should be very clear on the task. What exactly do you want AI to do? Explain this, summarize this, write an email, create a PowerPoint presentation on such and such topic. That will be the task. You should specify the task very clearly within your prompts. Next, constraints. Constraints are optional components. I mean, if you want AI to follow certain rules, then you will put certain constraints like keep it under 100 words, no jargon, use simple English. Okay. These are sort of boundaries for the AI system. Okay. Sometimes when we instructors, we prepare for a content. Okay. Sometimes we come across certain like topics. It's not very clear for us. We are going through the online documentation. Okay, so I'm going through a topic. For some reason, I'm not understanding anything. Okay. So generally what we do is we use services like Copilot, ChatGPT. We give a prompt like explain such and such topic in a very simple words. Okay. Explain such and such topic for someone who has started working on this product very recently. So it knows the context. Okay. So keep it under 100 words, no jargon, use simple English. So these becomes the boundaries, constraints becomes the boundaries. Then format how the answer should look like. Example can be given bullet points, make a table, use headings. Okay. Like for instance, I'm a system analyst. I have just obtained a CSV file which contains information about my email logs. And I want AI to be able to detect, do we have any spam versus not spam? Okay. So in that case, probably I will get the CSV, I will upload that CSV file, and somewhere within the prompt, I might say, analyze the CSV file and generate the findings in a table format. So that's a format. So that controls the layout of the output. Finally, validation. Okay. In AI systems, we have got, I mean, all the AI systems will have a syndrome known as a black box syndrome. I mean, sometimes the prediction which AI will generate, you will have no clue. Like, how did it come to this conclusion? Um, all right. So there are ways to handle this. Number one is Ask AI to check its own work. Okay. Example, check if the answer follows all the rules. Review any mistakes. How did you come to this conclusion? You can ask these questions. If you have uploaded a CSV file and suddenly if it has said that I did not find any spam, all emails are legit, so how do you validate this? You can ask, you can craft a prompt. How did you come to this conclusion? This will actually reduce the errors. Now, I would like to hand over to my colleague Nihit, and he will take you through some of the frameworks, some of the industry standard frameworks which we should follow. And these frameworks will guide us how to design the prompts properly. And once he's done with whatever he's supposed to cover, then I'll again take over. I'll guide you through the certification pathways. All right, Nihit, over to you, and I'll move on to the framework one.
Thank you, Shah. I hope I'm audible and visible.
Yes, Nihit, you are.
Thank you. So, good morning, everyone. Now, let's explore our first prompt engineering framework, which is role-based persona. And it is one of the simplest and the most effective way to improve the quality of AI outputs. Many people interact with AI by asking direct questions and hoping for a good answer. The challenge is that AI will often respond as a general purpose assistant, which can lead to broad, generic, or sometimes inconsistent results. And prompt engineering help us to change that. So instead of simply telling AI what to do, we tell AI who it should be while doing it. And this immediately gives the model the direction and the focus which is required. And giving the AI a role makes it answer like a specialist instead of a general purpose chatbot. So what we do is we tell AI who to act like. Suppose, like if we want to ask AI to explain financial report, you might receive a reasonable answer. But if you tell AI to act as a strategic financial analyst with 15 years of experience, the quality of the response changes dramatically. The AI begins using the language, perspective, and the expertise expected for that role. So by defining a role, we narrow down models' statistical probability space and guide it towards the relevant and professional outputs. So what happens is like it stops being generic. Okay. And this framework works because it establishes three important elements. The first element is element of expertise. So expertise said the depth of knowledge, the vocab, and the level of professionalism in the response. So if AI is acting as a lawyer, engineer, or teacher, or even a product manager, it will naturally tailor its language and recommendations accordingly. Okay. Second element is the audience. So great communications, we always start considering who the message is intended for. So as a technical explanation, for software developers will be different for an explanation for business executives or first time learners. So by specifying the audience, we help the AI to adjust the complexity, tone, and the style of format. And the third element is element of perspective. So without defined perspective, AI often produces generic content that tries to satisfy everyone. Okay. And when we specify a perspective, we encourage the model to evaluate information through that particular lens. For example, let's say if a chief financial officer will focus on probability and risk, while a marketing director may focus on the customer engagement and growth opportunities. So here what we have done is like we have given the angle or the viewpoint. So AI doesn't give fluffy or generic responses. Okay. Now, let's move on to our second prompt engineering framework, which is chain of thought. Okay. And this is one of the most powerful techniques for improving AI performance, especially when dealing with complex reasoning, problem solving, strategy, or even decision making tasks. One of the biggest challenges with AI is that it often jumps straight to the answer because language models are prediction systems, right? They naturally try to generate the most likely next response as quickly as possible. Okay. While this framework works well for simple questions, but it can create problem for the task that requires multiple steps of reasoning. So model may skip the important analysis, make assumptions, or sometimes overlook critical details. And this is where your chain of thought prompting becomes valuable. So sorry, instead of asking what to do, here what we ask is we instruct it to explain its reasoning, process first, and then provide the solution. So in simple terms, what we are doing is we are encouraging AI to think step by step before responding. Okay, consider how we teach students in school. So when solving a math problem, we often ask them to show their work instead of simply writing the final answer. So by demonstrating each step, they are more likely to catch mistakes and arrive at a correct solution. So chain of thought prompting applies the same principle to it. Rather by Rather than rushing to a conclusion, what we do, the model is guided to work through the logic systematically. Okay. So a simple prompt might say, what is the best solution to the business problem? Okay. But a chain of thought version would say, hey, analyze the problem step by step, explain its reasoning, evaluate the possible options, and then provide your recommendations. Notice that in the second prompt, it forces the AI to show how it arrived at its conclusion rather than simply giving the result. Okay. And there are three important components to it. The first is the problem, as we have discussed. What we need to do is we need to ensure that model goes through the intermediate steps without giving the output. Okay, so model need to verify. Second is the fix. We instruct the model to explain the reasoning. Next is the result. When AI explains its steps before answering, it becomes 20 to 40% more accurate on difficult problems because it was forced to think clearly, avoid shortcuts, and even avoid wrong assumptions. Now, our third prompt engineering framework, which is few shot learning. So this technique is based on very simple idea. So don't just tell AI what you want, show it what you know. So in many cases, providing a few examples of the desired output can dramatically improve the quality and accuracy of the AI response. Now, to understand this, let's first understand something known as zero shot prompting. So, zero shot prompting, we give AI a task without any examples. For instance, we might simply say, hey, classify these customer messages or write professional email. So, AI will try its best on its training and often does a good job. That is what it was intended for. But the challenge is that AI must guess the style, tone, structure, and the logic that we expect. Okay, so there will be a gap between what we are thinking, what we are typing, and how AI is interpreting that. So, as a result, the output may vary from one response to another. So, few short learning solve this problem by providing a small number of examples before asking AI to perform the task. So, instead of saying, hey, do this, what we say is here are few examples of how I want this to be done. Now, follow the same pattern, and that immediately gives the model a template to follow. Okay, and why this works better? Because giving example AI, it stays consistent, it can match your tone, it can follow your format, even it can handle tricky logic because it sees the pattern before answering. Now, our next framework, which is task decomposition. And see, this framework is based on very simple but powerful principle. That is, don't try to do everything in single step. Break the complex task into smaller and manageable parts. So, just as large projects are easier to complete when divided into phases. So, AI performs better when we guide it through a sequence than asking it to solve everything at once. Now, many people make mistake by giving AI one giant prompt that contains multiple objective, instructions, and expectations. And what we do is see, AI is not about magic. It's all about how we are providing the prompts. Okay, we can't expect to we if we have asked, hey, give me something, and we have provided a detailed explanation requirement that this should be done, that should be done, all in one go. See, AI is your assistant, so you have to treat it like that. Okay, so it can generate an answer, But the quality often suffers because model is trying to handle extraction, analysis, categorization, and content creation all at the same time. Okay, which can lead to missed details, even weaker reasonings is there, or sometimes inconsistent outputs. So task decomposition can solve this problem by dividing the work into clear stages. Okay, so the first stage that we have is extract. Okay. See, this framework is basically don't just do everything at once. Break the job into smaller steps. Okay. So our first step is extract. So what we do in this stage, we ask AI to pull out the important information from the source material, whatever we have provided. The goal here is not to analyze or summarize. Okay. We simply want the key facts, themes, data points, or insights related to the document that we have provided. So you can think of it as gathering the raw ingredients before cooking a meal. So the AI focuses on identifying what is important, okay, without making judgments or recommendations. Now, what will be the next step? Next step is to classify. So once the information has been extracted, we organize it into meaningful categories like urgent, long term, or informational. So by classifying the information, we create structure and priorities. So instead of dealing with large collection of disconnected facts, now AI can understand which item requires immediate action, which supports future planning, and moreover, which can simply provide the background information. Okay. Once everything is done, then we move on to the third step, that is draft. Okay. In which only see after extracting and organizing the information, what we do is we ask AI to create the final output. So at this stage, AI can write emails, it can generate reports, and even it can provide you recommendations, summaries, or sometimes even action plans using the categorized information that we have done in step number two. Okay, because earlier steps have already established the clarity and the structure. So final output tends to be more accurate and professional. Okay. And one important tip regarding this is the sequential prompting. So instead of giving one giant prompt, do it step by step. So what will happen is that the output of step one will feed into step two. Output of step two will feed into step three, which makes AI much more accurate. Next, what we have is we have constraint mapping. So while previous framework focuses on giving AI context, examples, or even structured steps, this framework focuses on something which is equally important, like setting clear rules. So in prompt engineering, constraints are the instructions, okay, that tell AI how to work, what to avoid, how to structure the answer, and how to verify its output. So, in many cases, the difference between an average response and an excellent response comes down to the quality of the constraint that we had provided. So, you can think of constraint as guardrails. So, when you drive on highway, guardrails help you to keep on the correct path. Okay, so constraint do exactly same with the AI, which can reduce ambiguity, it can prevent unwanted behavior, and can guide the model towards producing consistent and reliable output. Okay, so without constraints, AI will have too much freedom and may generate responses that are inaccurate, sometimes inconsistent, even difficult to use. Okay, so there are four types of rules, okay, which we can incorporate while we are writing the prompt. So the first is formatting constraint. Okay, see, these constraints control how the output should look like. For example, you might instruct an AI to provide the answer as a bullet point. You can do that, or you want it as a table, as a CSV file, as a JSON format, markdown, or even if you are having any specific form template, because it will become useful for you. Okay, you don't have to work again to make it into the format which you were designing. You can ask the model directly. So with this, it is easy to process and ready for the immediate usage. Okay, so that the AI doesn't have to guess how the information should be presented to you. Okay, next important constraint is negative constraint. Okay, see, these tell AI what it should be avoid doing while creating the output. Because see, you might say, don't use technical jargon. Don't mention competitors or don't make assumptions beyond the information provided. Okay. So these restrictions will help to reduce hallucination and prevent the model from including content that might be inappropriate or irrelevant. Okay. So instead of telling what AI what to do, we also tell what not to do. Okay. Next, we have structural constraint. So these control the length, okay, and the flow of the response. Like we can give instructions like, hey, use exactly 3 bullet points. Keep the answer under 100 words, or use 5 numbered recommendations. So these constraints help to create consistency and ensure that the output meets your business requirements. Next, what we have is your verification constraint. So these encourages AI to review and validate its own work before presenting the final answer. Okay, so this additional verification step reduces mistakes and improves the reliability. So these tools force the AI to double check your accuracy, like verify facts from the PDF provided, okay, which prevents AI from inventing information. And I'll tell you, AI is very good at that. Okay, let's now that we have explored several engineering frameworks, now let's look at the practical example that why prompt design matters. Okay, so the prompt shown here is intentionally simple. Okay, it simply says that analyze these sales number from the last quarter, write a summary of how we did for the board meeting. Pretty same, right? Pretty simple. So it seems like a reasonable request because after all, it clearly mentions the sales number and asks for the summary, right? But the from the prompt engineering perspective, this is actually a very poor prompt because it lacks the information that AI needs to deliver the high quality result. Okay. See, it's like telling someone, hey, cook food. That's it. Okay. But not saying what food, how spicy, how many people, or even for what occasion we want that food to be cooked. So as a result, AI generated a generic 3 paragraph summary. It failed to highlight important growth metrics, did not provide a structured format, and even presented an overly optimistic view without sufficient supporting data. So, AI has given you an answer, but not the answer your business actually needed. Okay. So, the question is, why did this happen? Because the first problem here is audience ambiguity. The prompt mentions a board meeting, but it never explained what executives care about. The board members typically want concise insights, financial performance indicators, strategic recommendations. Since the audience wasn't clearly defined, AI had to make a guess. Second problem is the absence of key metrics. So prompt never told AI which numbers matter. Because important metrics were not identified, AI could not prioritize the most valuable information. And third issue is the structural guidance. So the prompt does not specify whether the output should be table, bulleted points, charts, or even an executive summary. Okay. And without those instructions, AI defaults to generic text response, which may not be suitable for the business decision makers. And last is your zero shot. AI was given a complex analytical task without giving any step-by-step guidance, constraints, or validation instructions. Okay, so system was expected to figure everything on its own. Okay, see here we intend that hey, this is your task. See, this is our task, and we are using AI to speed it up. Okay, the task was given to you. Okay, so here we haven't provided any examples, so AI had to guess. Now, we looked at the weak prompt and discussed why it was producing disappointing results. Here we can see what happens when the prompt engineering principles are applied correctly. Okay, and this is what we call as engineering fix. So instead of asking AI to simply analyze sales data, write summaries, we define the prompt that gives model the clear direction, structure, and expectations. Okay, so which transform the quality of the output. So if you want good output from AI, give it clear and well-designed prompt. Okay, so the first component to it is role. So prompt begins with act as a strategic finance analyst, which immediately tells AI who it should be while performing the task. Next is your context. Prompt states that the output is being prepared for board meeting using the data provided. Okay, so here we have clearly set the prompt. Okay, and with the help of AI, it understands the information which matters most and the level of detail is appropriate. Third component is chain of thought reasoning. Notice that prompt does not simply ask for summary. Instead, it instructs the AI to follow a sequence of steps. Okay, calculate first year growth, then identify the top three underperforming regions, and finally draft the sum. Okay, as we learned earlier, step-by-step reasoning often provide you more accurate and reliable results. And the fourth component is your output format. So prompt clearly specifies this response should contain a markdown table followed by 5 bullet points, which removes ambiguity and ensure that the output is organized. And the fifth component is the tone. We tell the AI how it should sound. So objective and data driven. So AI avoids fluff and says factual. Clear? Now, let's shift our focus from theory to practical business applications. Okay. The question many professionals ask is, hey, where can I actually use these techniques? I know a lot of things, but where I can use this? How prompt engineering can create real business value across different business domains. So AI can take large amount of unstructured information and it has a capability to transform it into a useful and actionable insights. But the better we design our prompts, the more effective AI can perform this transformation. So let's begin with our first use case for campaign engines. Okay, see, many organizations spend a significant of time creating marketing content for the different channels. Okay, the company may have detailed product guide, white paper, research report, or even they have a lengthy presentation. Okay, but marketing teams would manually convert that content into emails, social media posts, blog articles, promotional messages, and whatnot. Okay, but with well-designed prompts, AI can perform the task infinite. It can analyze the large source of document that you have provided and can create tailored content for different audiences, platform, while maintaining a consistent message and your brand words. Okay. Second is operations. So even organizations generate huge amount of information through meeting, transcript, notes, and process discussion. But this information is often scattered and it is very difficult to use. So AI can help by transforming these raw conversational data into a structured procedures, okay, workflows, and even your operational documentation. So imagine like several hours of meeting transcript and convert them into clear step-by-step process that employee can follow. It will take the same amount of time, which AI can do within minutes. So by this, we are improving efficiency, we are reducing the confusion, and we are helping organization to prevent, to preserve these knowledge. Okay. And the third use case is data to insight. See, many businesses have access to large amount of data, okay, stored in spreadsheets and other places. But with effective prompts, AI can review these data sets and instead of spending hours searching through the rows, teams can quickly understand what matters most and focus their attention into the decision making. So it can find patterns in the raw data, like spot unusual numbers, find trends, highlight problems, show what's need attention. So basically, your raw data becomes insights. Okay. Now, let's explore how prompt engineering creates value in technical and developer environment. So many people think that AI is only useful for generating content. But in reality, some of the most powerful applications are happening in software development, engineering, research, and technical knowledge management. So the first use case that we have is logical code orchestration. So at its core, this basically means that we are using AI to assist with coding, testing, debugging, and the software development workflows. So we are using AI in our start to end life cycle of software development. So here with properly designed prompts, AI can become highly effective development assistant. Rather than simply generating code snippets, it can follow specific rules, it can generate test cases, and it can help developers to troubleshoot issues more efficiently. Okay. See, a vague coding prompt may produce incomplete results. Okay. But when we define the programming language, project requirement, testing criteria, AI becomes much more dependable. Okay. Second is your analytical research literature synthesis. Okay. See, developers often have to process enormous amount of information like research papers, technical documentation, design specifications, industry reports, and whatnot. Reading and comparing those materials manually can consume a tremendous amount of time. And it does this, AI can do that without losing the deep meaning. So basically, AI is converting complicated reading into simple and clear notes for future references. Okay. Next is all about, see, till here we have seen what all we can do related to it. But important thing is how we can generate more reliable outputs. Because one of the biggest misconception about AI is that if it sounds confident, it must be correct. But in reality, AI can sometimes provide answers that sound convincing but contains inaccuracies. And that's why prompt engineering is becomes essential. So there are three practical techniques that can help you to reduce hallucinations and bias. First we have is temperature. Okay. See, temperature setting is that how we can control the creativity or predictability for an AI model becomes. Okay. So lower the temperature keeps the AI grounded and reduce the likelihood of made up information. Okay. Higher the temperature means higher creativity. Next, what we have is grounding. So here we can specify AI that look for this in a specific source and instructing it to rely on the content. Okay. And the third we have is verification. So here we ask AI to check your math, review your logic, look for the mistakes. So basically, AI double checks everything before answering. Up to now, we have focused on how to make AI more effective. See, as an AI becoming part of everyday work, prompt engineering is no longer just about getting better results. It's about ensuring those results are secure, trustworthy, aligned with your professional standards. And there are two key concepts related to it. First is that targeted context. Like, see, one of the most common mistakes people make is giving vague or incomplete instructions. Like, help me with this report, leaves too much room for interpretation. Instead, effective prompt engineers provide clear boundaries, okay, and relevant context. And by giving a well-defined problem space, we improve both the quality and the reliability of the response. Okay, so the more precise the context, better the outcome will be. And next we have is iterative logging. So, which simply means treating AI prompt engineering the same way software developers treat code. Developer rarely write perfect code on the first attempt. Okay, build it, review it, make improvements, and then test again. Prompt engineering works the same exact way. So we create a prompt, we evaluate it, we identify the areas of improvement and refine the prompt over time. And this approach is particularly valuable in enterprise environments where consistency matters. So instead of relying on random prompt variations, organizations can document everything. Now, one golden rule is that never put your confidential or client data into public AI. Use only enterprise grade AI systems for sensitive information. Basically, don't leak secrets by accident. Okay. Now let's take the conversation one step further and focus on governance and ethical. Okay. So here the first area of focus is your data privacy. So organizations is handling sensitive informations. Okay. And we need to ensure that before it reaches AI system, we should remove the PII. Okay. And by protecting personal information, we are ensuring that it reduce privacy risk and support compliances. Okay. Second is bias mitigation. So AI model can learn from large amounts of data. Okay. And like we might instruct the AI to present multiple perspectives, consider alternative viewpoints, avoid making unsupported assumptions. So by this, we are implementing that we are ensuring that we improve fairness and reduce the risk of one-sided or misleading outputs. And last is the audit trails. So in professional environments, accountability is extremely important. So maintaining records of prompt and AI responses creates an audit trail that supports the compliance reviews. Okay. So this basic helps with compliance, quality checks, and accountability. Okay. So keep a log so you can prove what happened. Okay. Over to you, Shantanu.
Thank you, Nihit, for such a lovely presentation. All right. So hopefully you all have understood, I mean, sort of understood, because I told you before, it's not possible to explain everything within such a short span within 1 hour. But hopefully you have got a bit of overview of the importance of prompt engineering. So have a look at the slide. So we have given you two links. You can take a screenshot of this one, or if you think that you have got good memory and you can memorize, that's fine. But these are the two links we have given from where you can find out more about the course, what kind of topics will be covered in the examination. By the way, one good thing, one shot exam is a part of this particular course. If you enroll for this particular course, you will learn how to craft good prompts. Uh, you will also require some sort of a credential, right? What's the proof that now you know how to go for a proper prompting? So you need to get certified, and this exam is included as a part of this particular course. So I strongly recommend that you enroll for this particular course and eventually sit for the examination, get the industry related credentials, and pretty much both of us, we have covered whatever we were supposed to cover today. And now it's the time for any kind of questions and answers. If you have got any questions and questions, feel free to put the question, and both of us, we are happy to answer your question. But so that I can have a look at the questions, I'll stop sharing my screen and we'll wait for some time and see if you have got any kind of questions. Question number one: what is the optimum length of the prompts to get the best result? There is nothing like this. There is nothing like optimum length. We can't define like the length of the prompt. It has to be precise. I mean, follow that particular principle, act as someone, act as a business manager, act as a doctor. The starting of the prompt and the ending of the prompt should have the key essential points. So there is nothing like what should be the minimum length. Albert, the certification is accredited to which body? You will get the examination. The certificate will be from AI Certs. AI Certs is the vendor. They will offer the certification. We will deliver the training as a Lumify, and the certification will be offered. The exam certification will be offered by AI Certs.
The next question is like, does all AI models follow the same prompt engineering best practices or does it vary by tool? See, more or less it's same. Okay, so because the engine behind it is LLMs working, which are large language models. So things are same. It's just that there are few things which can change, but mostly it is same.
Question number three: if a prompt is 100% identical, will AI give the same answer? No, AI systems are generative AI. Every time you give a prompt, you will get a different answer. So if you give a prompt, generate something for me, and if you once you see the output, if you copy and paste it, probably you'll not get the same response. So that is the fundamental principle of generative AI. Do all AI models follow the same prompt engineering practice? Yes, models are created using different algorithms. There are different algorithms like SVM, k-means clustering, but this is different. Prompt engineering is how do you create constructive prompts? How do we save prompts for ongoing repeated use? It depends on the AI model. There are certain AI models which allows you to track history. There are certain AI models which will not be able to track history. But with ChatGPT, what happens is every time you initiate a prompt, then on the left hand side, you'll get a prompt history where you will be able to see all your historical prompts.
Next question is there a recognized standard framework with this approach complies with? Yes, it is. Like it is GCSE framework in which you specify the goal, structure, and all. Next question to you.
Yes, just scrolling up to the questions. One
Mhm.
second.
Can another AI tool be used to help refine prompts? Definitely, you can do that. See, if you're not good with providing the prompt, what you can do or creating the prompt, what you can do is like you can specify what is your requirement, okay, that what you want to achieve with the data you have, and then you provide the prompt. to the model. Model can generate the prompt for you, and later you can refine. Okay, always remember, treat AI as your assistant. Okay, don't take anything, like don't take everything which AI model is generating. Verify it before using it somewhere.
And question number 8, are there recommended courses? Obviously, yes. So either visit our website, lumifygroup.com, or AI CERTs website, and look for AI prompt engineering, look for AI prompt fundamentals. There are plenty courses available. There's a question, is it always a requirement to keep your prompt to reuse every time? It feels like each time AI requires a reminder what they have been doing. Yeah, you do not need to save your prompts for reuse. This is what I was telling. Historically, different AI models will store the previous prompts. It's just going through the history and then rerunning the prompts once again. Is there any other question which I've missed?
Like there
Are
are
there?
questions about agents, like what is the role of the agents in the prompts?
All right. My question, Liam, I'm just trying to find out your question. Where is it? And regarding those, what's your preferred AI? Like, different, like there's nothing like that preferred AI. There are different AI models for different tasks. For generating something, GPT models like ChatGPT is good. For image-based model like Claude AI, it's good. So there are different things. Like for deep analysis, deep thinking, Perplexity is good. So there's nothing like preferred AI. So different AI comes with different capabilities. It depends what you would like to achieve. And as you can see, the link, the questions related to the courses, we have put the link over here, and you will get a link for this particular video. I know you might be having lots and lots of questions in your mind, but we have just gone through, a very specific sections like prompting. AI is a huge thing. It is not possible to cover everything, but if you follow this link, you will be able to see all the prompt engineering related courses, go through the outline, have a look at the courses, try to find out what's important for you, go through the courses, uh, sit for the exam. This is how you will be able to master the concept of prompt engineering.
And one thing that I like to recommend to everyone is like try to include prompt engineering as part of your day-to-day life. The more you learn, the better you will become. Okay. You can't be an expert in a single day. It will take its own time and you have to give it.
And Naini, I hope I've answered your question, Liam. This is what I said. Like, there is nothing like what's your preferred AI. If I need to create some content, I use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is good for content creation, content summarization. If I want to do some sort of a deep analysis, deep thinking, um, I use Perplexity. For image-based system, I use, like, if I want to generate an image, if I want to generate some sort of 3D diagram, like network architecture, network layout for my class, I use Claude AI. So there is nothing like preferred AI. I use different AI for different kinds of requirements. What are the role of agents? AI is also known as agentic AI. It is the agent which sort of acts as the brain of the AI model. So, for instance, think about this. An application runs under the context of a service. A service principal account is needed in order to run an application. Likewise, this AI systems needs agents. Agents are the workers. They are also termed as worker process. So these are the agents. The agents basically work together and then they offer the services through AI. See, if you have designed your AI, say, when we talk about AI systems, it is not limited to ChatGPT and all. AI systems can be created from scratch. Now, if you create an AI system from scratch using models like, frameworks like Python and all, then you have got more control on the back end of it, more control on the memory of it, whether you would like the memory to be retained, whether you would like the memory to get flushed out. Now, you will not have these level of control on out of the shelf AI services like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and all. But if you have designed using, you know, AWS has got their own solutions like SageMaker. We have got Azure has got Foundry where you can create your own AI model. There you will have the control on the parameters, not on the out of the shelf things like ChatGPT and all. Thank you. I guess that's it from our end. And thank you so much for attending this. And you all have a lovely weekend, fantastic weekend. And don't forget to enroll for the course. And probably I'll see you then if you enroll for this course or maybe in HIT. Okay. Okay, everyone. It was lovely delivering this presentation. And on behalf of Lumify Group and AI Certs, we would like to thank you all for attending, for investing your time. And I'll see you all later on.
Thank you, everyone. Happy co-piloting.
Thanks, Nate. Thanks, everyone.